The state election, did you walk into a booth and vote, or did you do a postal vote? I know some postal votes didn't turn up, and of course there was a short time frame in this state election. Is there a better way? Should electronic voting be on the table? What about areas, I should say, where the internet is dodgy? Doesn't that rule electronic voting out for parts of Queensland? Philip Zada is a PhD candidate for the University of New England. His research is on the viability of mobile voting during Australian elections. Good morning, Philip. How are you?
Good morning. How are you going?
I'm well. Why did you take on this particular type of research?
Well, it actually came about, I think, during the election in 2010. I was pretty much standing in line, waiting to vote, and it took about 45 minutes just to get in there and cast my vote. So while I was waiting, I was thinking there's got to be a better way to do this. So I did some research and found that, overseas there's been various trials of people or countries taking on this research, and figured why not in Australia?
So is electronic voting embraced in other countries, or is it still in the trial phase?
Well, depending on which country. So, give you an example. In Estonia, they've had the internet online voting since 2005. I believe the last election, a quarter of their votes were cast online.
What are the challenges when it comes to electronic voting? One of the things that pops up to me is privacy and, of course, poor internet or phone coverage.
Yep. The biggest challenge that's being perceived at the moment all fall under the umbrella of trust. So it's essentially having the public, the governments, and everyone involved trusting the system.
And how do you overcome that? Should electronic voting be trusted, or can people's vote be tracked down if they're voting via a phone or via the internet?
There are mechanisms that have been put in place in other trials where it actually still keeps the vote anonymous, but verifiable in the same way as well. So effectively, after you've cast your vote, you're able to get a receipt or a receipt number, which you can use to verify that your vote's been counted the way you cast it without revealing how you voted.
And how can the actual system make sure that people have voted, considering in Australia it is compulsory voting? Is that something that you will look at?
Yes, definitely. So there's two components to electronic voting. There's the registration and the verifying that you are who you say you are, and then there's the actual casting of the vote. Now, what has been done in trials internationally is they've been kept separate by different the government. So that way the anonymity space is there, as well as being confident that this person voted.
So how do you overcome that trust factor?
I believe it's a few different stages. Primarily, it's effectively getting the knowledge and the workings of the system out there to the public, and the public itself actually seeing what's involved and how the data is being managed.
Would it be easy for a rural council to run? Some of these councils are small and have vast distances to cover.
Yeah, so we're basically looking at it from multiple levels, so federal, states, local, and the system we'll be looking at is effectively providing a platform that can easily be implemented at any time by any level of government.
How do people get involved in the research?
So the best way to get involved is we have our website, mobilevoting.com.au. We have Facebook, Twitter. We're across all social media sites. People can follow us on that. And then what we're actually doing is we're intending to run a survey in the near future to actually capture people's concerns and perceived challenges to actually be used in the research and trying to address those challenges. Do
you personally think electronic voting is inevitable?
I personally believe that the day of the paper is about to end. So it's sort of us being preemptive and effectively doing the hard yards before we're basically too late.
And of course, but in saying that, Philip, I have to say I've heard that the day of the paper was going to end 30 years ago, and it didn't. So I suppose it's how long it will take. You said that in other countries it's sort of at a quarter. Do you think it'll ever reach 100%, or will it just be a choice?
I believe I just haven't got the figures in front of me. I think in Spain, at one stage, it was available to 100% of the population. A vast majority did use it. Now, one thing I did want to stress is we're not looking at replacing the polling stations, because I always believe there's a place for them. We're looking at complementing it with a mobile voting platform so people do have that choice.
Well, good luck with the research. Just say how people get involved again.
So they can just easily jump onto our website, mobilevoting.com.au, or they can find us on Facebook or Twitter. Follow us on there and they'll be kept up to date.